Hi guys, I'll admit I've already put this album away, but I pulled it back out so that I could do a quick walkthrough of my 2018 Project Life album with you. This is going to be super short because basically every single page that's in here there is a process video for. I will link the playlist up here, but every week I put all of my Project Life process videos into that playlist, so if there's ever anything you want to watch, they're all in there. So this is my 2018 album. It's a gold We Are Memory Keepers 12x12 album, as has been for the last 2 years and will be for 2019 as well. And then I'm all out. I wish I could still get a hold of these, but I can't. So this is my album, and I started the album with this project. Now these cards were an add-on from one of the Ellie Edwards story kits. Can't remember which one it was. I'm going to guess it was somewhere near the start of the year because it's got the 12-month cards in it. I didn't know what I was going to do, but I thought they would look cute just in one of these 12x12 page protectors. And I started off by putting a selfie, and I decided I would just carry on doing that. Now I stopped doing that about June, July, something like that. So when I went to finish this album, I did have a lot of blanks left over, so I just went through my photo roll, pulled out some selfies from each of those months and stuck it in, and I actually love this. I kind of want to do it again. I don't have another set of these cards, so I'm thinking I'll make some of my own, but I never had a title page for this album, and this I think is sort of a cool way of starting it. Now, there are a lot of pages in here. Let me move this over so you can see both sides. There were a few pages in here that I haven't done back sides for, and this one here, it's plain, it's all plain white, so I'm not going to do anything with. There are a few pages that I went back in and filled in with pattern paper. I had intended to go back and maybe add in some more layouts, but I'm not going to lie to you, it doesn't happen. I'm ready to put this album away, so it's just going to be as is. Week one was a Kelly Stamps week, a summer one, and I love all these little pops of pink in here. Pink and teal, of course, is going to be a huge theme through this album. Now week two was one of my favorites too, and I'm going to guess that it's a 5 favorite things spread, and those ended up being some of my favorites for the year because it was a great excuse to like jump back through my stash, pull out things I loved, and actually use them for once. This was a spread with digital cards, I think, and I can see a few Brandy Kincaid and other ones in there as well. And I think the weeks that end up with lots of titles, I guess, or certainly lots of text on them, are some of my favorites. You know, I'm not like a big weekly journaler. I tried to do more of these sort of recap cards more often this year, which, you know, on the whole mostly worked, but I don't tend to do a lot of journaling over my photos and stuff, just lots of stamping. I guess I'm more of a visual documenter. I know that for me, and this is a Feed Your Craft spread as well, and this is one of those ones where the back side's empty. I had intended to go back and I never did. Again, these ones are sort of white so that I'm not gonna go back and change them. What was I saying about documenting? I'm more of a visual documenter, and I'm well aware that for me, we don't have children. I don't expect that anyone's going to want to keep these albums when we're gone, so these are purely for me and Shane, our life documented, and most of the time neither of us want to read scrolls and scrolls of writing about what happened because we were there, we know what happened. So I'm more of a documenter for the joy of it, for the crafty therapy that it gives me, the playing with paper and design and using my hands and getting off a computer. I am a graphic designer by trade, so I am on the computer all day, every day, so I love working with my hands. And that's my primary focus for documenting. I know that I'm not documenting for the ages. I'm not going to have generations and generations of my family that are going to be looking through these albums, so I don't feel any great desire to heavily explain everything that's going on in here. There are a few 12 by 12 layouts in here. I do a few 12 by 12 layouts, not a lot. That's something I want to remedy this year. And you can see this is a page that I had missing, and I did have a few more towards the end of this album, and I thought I should go back and fill in this spot, but it seemed odd the way I mix these albums with Project Life and layouts. It seemed odd to then go back in time towards the start of the year and add in layouts from the end of the year. So in the end, I just left it blank. This is a spread using one of my digital kits that are available at the stamp spot. They're just printable traveler's notebook kits, but you can alter them to work with Project Life as well, which is obviously what I did here. Love how bright and colourful that week is. And these are a couple of citrus twist ones, and I had done a little insert in here because this week sort of spilled over into two. I had more photos than fit on my one weekly spread, so I've added this in, and this is another one of those ones where I never went back and filled in. I didn't have any extra photos for week 9, so it just ended up being blank. And what I did was just went through my journal cards stash and picked out a few teal cards because when it's flipped over on this side it matches this spread nicely, so I was aware of what was on this spread when I filled in the back of here. And the little heart worked out nicely because there was a lot of heart motifs on this page too. This is another page with one of my digital kits as well, so same thing, altering them to work on a Project Life page. And here's another little insert that I had done for Kelly stamps with, I think it's called the Crap Day stamp set. It's just one of my favorites, and again that's another one that didn't end up getting backed. I didn't have another hard day, so when I put this see-through pocket, and this wood veneer piece was from Ellie Edwards, I think, it sort of dictates what this side of this spread is going to be, and I didn't really have another hard thing to put in there, so I've just left it as it is. I love all the circles on this spread. Circles aren't something I use a lot, but every time I do, I really love the way it looks. I guess because spreads are so square, I've used this Design A page protector the whole way through this album, and so because everything's so square, I really love the contrast when I end up with circles on a page. This page was all using dies, just paper and dies, and I really loved that challenge as well. I guess I haven't become bored with Project Life, and I've done this for 6 years now in the same format. I've done 12 by 12 for 6 years. I've got no intention of changing anytime soon. I love the size, I love the format, it works well for me. I don't want to change things up just for the sake of changing things up. I know there's been a lot of tendency to change this year. I've seen lots of people changing their formats and being a bit bored with their current documenting style. I'm never bored with my Project Life albums because I always find a way to give myself some sort of challenge for the week, and I know that just documenting weekly can be challenging enough. I'm lucky that you guys keep me totally accountable for this album. I have a standing date to work on Project Life every single week so that there is a video up every single week for you. So that in itself is a challenge, but when I have, you know, the time or a little bit of space, I love giving myself a challenge like that one to use just dies and papers. And you've seen me do that before. It's the same thing with those 5 favorite things challenges. It's just changing things up just a little bit without changing the entire format of something to give myself a little bit of variety. I also super enjoy working with kits. I am obviously on a few design teams, one being Citrus Twist, and I love working with their kits each month. I do have a huge stash of supplies, and that can be overwhelming. So I love working with a kit and having that sort of narrowed choice of things to work with. I'm also on the Kelly Stamps team, and so just having sort of really stamp heavy layouts works really well for me too. This is a layout that was from my class, from Big Picture classes. If you haven't checked that out, they're always linked down below in my description box. This was my Not Leftovers Again class about actually using up some of that stash, which worked a treat, I must say. I have collected a bit more since then, unfortunately. And that was another layout from that class as well too. So I think there are process videos for those ones, but you'll have to hop over to the class and check that out if you want to see those. Week 19, again with the circles, and you can see the sort of variety it brings to it. And I haven't been checking, but this looks like this is the first photo enlargement that I've done this year, and I also really loved that too. I love adding these bigger sort of, they end up being 6x8, but I just print them as 2 6x4 photos and trim them to fit. And on a week like this where I don't have a lot of photos, it fills up the space really nicely. I suppose I can tell the story of this now. At the time it seemed odd that I was putting a picture of a bean in here, but this is how my nephew got his name, because this photo is the moment that my sister called to tell me that she was pregnant, and I was working on beans. Bean illustrations for a book I'm working on, and that's how he became Bean, because we didn't know at that point whether he was a boy or a girl, and we both felt uncomfortable calling him an it, so instead we decided to call him Bean, and he became Bean the whole way through. In fact, I still call him Bean. These are some more, this was another one from Feed Your Craft and Brandy Kincaid, and I just love the bright colours of it, and again with the little circles. These ones are smaller, just enamel dots, and a few embellishments, but it's just, those are one of my favourite things. This was another Kelly Stamps week, so again another stamp heavy week. I did experiment a little bit with this one with doing some handwritten journaling, and you know I'm not a big fan of my handwriting, so little spots of it are fine, but I much prefer when I take the time to run my journaling cards through my typewriter and end up with some typed journaling. Of course, it also goes really nicely because I'm using a lot of Citrus Twist kits, and they have this little typewriter font for their stamps, so it makes the typewritten journaling really fit in nicely with the spreads. This is another page from the class that was using 3x4 cards to create a 12x12 layout, and I really love how that worked. And this was a 12x12 layout I did for Citrus Twist using a little bit of mixed media, not a lot, I'll admit, there's only a few splatters in there, and some pink fresh papers to create a rainbow, of course. I think this might have even been, no, June, we're only up to June, so it wasn't during my rainbow month. Another stamp heavy week. Obviously some weeks, especially during the middle of the year when we were moving, they weren't that flash, so I don't tend to do a lot of journaling on those sorts of weeks. I let the photos and the stamps speak for them. Oh, here we go. We must be getting into rainbow month now, because here's a really rainbowy layout. And this was just using one 12x12 sheet of paper. So I took the 12x12 and trimmed it down into 4x6s and 3x4s and just used that. And I really love the look of it. I just, this was a stamp from, and I think it was a Feed Your Craft stamp too, to create your own journaling cards. And I made that sort of rainbow, and then just added a few stickers on top, and it was super simple layout, but it worked out really well. Another Kelly Stamps layout, more sort of neutral this time. And then back to colour. I can't go past colour in my pages. I often base my colour schemes off photos that are in the spread. I print all of my photos first before I decide what kit or supplies I'm going to work with. So I print out all my photos, lay them out, and then have a look and see how I'm going to go from there. This page was a challenge that I had done for Citrus Twist about using some of the packaging that we get in these kits. There's an awful lot of waste goes into our crafting industry, and so much of the packaging is easily reusable and super pretty, so there's no reason why you can't cut that up and find ways to use it in your spread. So I think this was a backing card for some stickers. Again, the stripy card was some backing as well. I've used some of the plastic in here to create a clear card and some texture up here as well. And I did use some of that plastic packaging. You'll see me do that all the time to place alpha stickers or work out where stamps should go. It's just about, I guess, utilizing the packaging that you've got. Here's another definitely sort of rainbow looking page. This was another Feed Your Craft kit, and I can't remember the name of the kit, sorry. It's had something to do with magic, and it is just, it's still one of my favorite kits of the year. These little butterflies were just gorgeous. Some more Kelly stamps, stamp heavy sort of ones. You can see towards the middle of the year here the attempt at journaling kind of stopped, and I did try and pick that up again later on. So I've moved my journaling down to here, and again with the typed cards, it's much easier for me to type out a 3x4, a 4x6 card than a 3x4 one. So that worked out quite nicely there. And this was another page that ended up with too many photos, so I've got a little insert. This time I got smart and I worked on both sides of the insert at once so that I didn't have any blank pages to fill up. Here's another attempt at starting to play a bit more with mixed media. These were the pink fresh liquid watercolors, and I had to play with those and really loved them. You can see the colors you get. They're so vibrant and bright. I actually love playing with those, and the latest, I don't know if it's the latest actually, one of the Project Life's my first Project Life of 2019, where I have those freebie watercolor cards for you. If you haven't seen that, I will link that up here. Make sure you go and grab those. These are the watercolors that I used to create those cards. The thing I like about only having a few 12 by 12 layouts in here is I can put in some of these chunkier embellishments without the album exploding. These, I think they're crepe paper frames. I really loved them, so I created a whole layout with all three of those. Another rainbowy page, and I'm pretty sure this is another one of those my 5 favorite things layouts, and they really are, they do become my favorites. So there hasn't been a lot of stitching this year, and the places that I do it, I super love it. So I really need to I think maybe go through here and make a list of the things that worked and the things that didn't work maybe so well, to make sure that I include those in my 2019 album. It's not very often that there's been sort of a cooler toned page in my album this year, but this one I really love. And again, the colors just came from the photos that were in the week. So this is September, so it's still the end of winter, beginning of spring here, and the light is really cool. So sometimes there's no point fighting those things. I can try and edit that out in Photoshop, but I guess the reality is it's cold, it's dark still, and so that sort of became a focus of this week. Here's where I started duffing up the week numbers. I stamped week 38, and I left it as it was, but when I was putting all of my weeks back into page protectors, because that's my secret shame, that's the part I hate the most about Project Life, is putting the weeks into their pockets. I never do it. They end up in a stack by my desk, and I think I had about 27 weeks sitting by my desk to put back into protectors at the end of the year. And as I was doing that, even I was getting confused about which week was which. So I did actually just scribble a 7 over top here so that I know which week it actually was. This is the real week 38, and I can see I've already made a mistake putting these cards in. This one's upside down. which I guess is the danger of not doing it at the time. Much better. And another one of these photo enlargements, which I love so much. This was a 5 favorites thing where I actually dug back and used some older supplies, and I think a lot of this is, I think it's dearlydee, not necessarily crepe paper. It might be both, I'm not sure. But I love it. I've got so many older things that because I have a lot of new stuff coming in and I'm always blinded by the new things. I don't tend to go back through my stash and use the older stuff a lot, but this page I really enjoyed. You can see it was a bit of a theme towards the end of the year, a lack of photos. I got busier and busier with work, and so the photo taking sort of ended up taking a bit of a back seat. So we got a few more of these larger photo enlargements, and you can see a bit more journaling happening on those weeks to fill in the spaces where the photos didn't happen. A little bit of a coffee themed week. Again, like I said, work was getting busier, as you can tell by my face. So coffee was a heavy theme through the end of the year too. I love some of these blues that are happening too, even though we're sort of out of winter now and into spring colors. The darker ones are really nice. I really love this dark blue, and it doesn't seem to happen that much in scrapbooking products. Some more stitching. This is one of my favorite spreads of the whole year. I just love, I don't know what I love about it. It's so simple. Some of the photos are really simple. I think I tried a bit harder with the photo taking to not just snap a photo but to be a bit more conscious of what I was taking and how I might use that in my album. And I really enjoy how that turned out. I suppose I especially love it because it has the stitching in there, and like I said, it didn't spend a lot of time stitching this year. This is a really fun layout that I did with a cut file from Citrus Twist. Now this was sort of an autumn themed cut file, but we weren't in autumn, we were in spring. So all I did to make it a bit more spring-like was use those same Pink Fresh watercolors and watercolor them a bit brighter, a bit pinker, a bit fresher green rather than those sort of oranges and browns. And it turns out really nicely as a spring themed layout. This is my favorite layout of the entire year, my favorite photo of the entire year probably. These were selfies that me and my sister had taken at her baby shower, and it needed a special layout, so I had been playing with circles on a different, this is a whimsical paper, and I had started off this layout with a different one. I can't remember which one it was, but it has the little polka dots all over it. And I had started out with the circles and doing some stitching, and that was too many circles. So I changed the background paper and re-stitched everything. And again, I think it's that contrast between circle and straight that I enjoy rather than full-on circles. Bit more pink in this layout, but again, not a lot of journaling. And then so it's like I'm either one or the other. There's either nothing or there's a lot. But this is one of my favorite layouts from this year too. I just love the colors. They're so unusual. This was a kit from Citrus Twist, and I love this kind of mustardy yellow with the pinks and the black and whites. It's just really contrasty and graphic, and that's I think what I like. This was another page where I went down the route of using a 12 by 12 paper, which ended up totally different than how I had imagined it. I used this side of this Pink Fresh paper, cut it up, but that ended up being the only piece that I used. This is the back side of it, and I used that more. So again, I enjoyed that challenge of playing with different supplies, and it was interesting using a scrapbook kit to create a project life layout. My last 5 favorite things of the year, and these were supplies from Rosie Studios. I can't remember the name of the line, but beautiful and colorful and a fun way to end the year, I think. bit more journaling and some more of these sort of blues that I love, so that's got to be something I've got to include a bit more of in 2019. Again, this is another one of my favorites of the year. You may well have seen the process video for this and know that it just went totally wrong. It was nothing like this. I didn't know what I was going to do, and the fact that I got a bit of help from Shane just makes this page mean so much to me, that he would take the time to come and help me. Obviously I was having a little bit of a fit about it, and I think some of the ideas he had were amazing, so I need to definitely ask his opinion a little bit more. And the last page, that's it. That's the whole album done. I am so pleased to have another album in the books. As much as it is difficult to carry on each week and get a page of Project Life done, I will say I love having a complete album. I know that people struggle with completing albums and feeling behind. My only advice to you is to make it work for you. Do what you need to do to be able to get it done. If you don't get a whole album done, don't beat yourself up about it. It's not that big a deal. I don't think anyone at any point in time is going to judge you for skipping a few weeks or skipping a whole lot of weeks or not finishing a year. It's not a big deal. The only person that really is going to judge you for that is you. So if you can let that judgment go and just focus on enjoying the process and remembering why you're doing it, then I think it becomes a whole lot more enjoyable. So I just want to end this video by saying thank you for all your support. Thank you for all the comments and likes throughout the year. I know I say it every time, but I'll keep saying it because it's totally true. It means the world to me, and the only reason that I keep doing these weekly videos is for you guys. So thank you for watching, thank you for enjoying, and thank you for encouraging me to stay on track with this project. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye.